Hey everybody, so we're going to be covering another scam in Türkiye today. If you're not familiar with me, I am originally Turkish, but I live in the States. I go back and forth between the two countries. I like to talk about these things, so when people come here as tourists, they don't leave here with a bad taste in their mouth. They don't fall for one of these scams. They don't have a bad experience while they're here. We read about these things all the time. We hear about them all the time. It's just unfortunately a bad part of our culture that we've grown up with. So at least I like to talk about them so that when you come here, you are a little bit more knowledgeable about these things. I am recording outside. It's a beautiful morning, so I hope the background noise isn't too much for you. The scam that we're going to talk about today is the perfume and cologne scam, all right? And I'm a little reluctant, a little hesitant to call this a scam because you are willfully allowing this to happen to yourself. You are willfully participating in the scam due to your, whether it's your materialism or this consumerism that we've become engulfed with, or your obsession with brand names, whatever the case may be, you are participating in the scam. You are willfully falling for this. If you're not familiar, if you've never been to Türkiye, if you've never been shopping in Türkiye, Türkiye is a haven for knockoff merchandise, whether it be handbags and purses, clothing, shoes, watches, perfume and cologne. The list goes on. All the big major brand names, you can get their knockoffs. Now, when it comes to certain things like textiles, like clothing or handbags, those are things you can actually touch. They're tangible. You can touch them and feel them. You can feel the quality of the material. Turkey is known for textiles, the quality of our textiles. So you can actually get knockoff clothing that will last you a good amount of time. A lot of these brands do actually make their merchandise here in Türkiye, so the knockoffs you're getting are probably not going to be very far off from the originals. And I've seen people with very high quality knockoff watches that lasted several years, and they used that watch for quite some time. So you can get quality knockoffs. But when it comes to cologne and perfume, it's a different story. I mean, you really have to think this through, all right? So let me set the scenario for you. You're walking around in one of the tourist attraction spots in Turkey. You choose the spot, whether it's Istanbul, whether it's Antalya, whether it's, Cappadocia, wherever you may be. And you're either going to get approached by someone, a street vendor, someone may have a booth or a stall, or a store, an entire store, and the fact that they can actually afford an entire store speaks to the stupidity of the people who fall for this shit. All right. So what happens is, let's say you're interested in a Dolce & Gabbana cologne. All right. You're a man, you're looking for cologne, and the Dolce & Gabbana, the one. In the US, I looked them up in our department store in the US. There's a famous department store called Macy's. They sell them for like $130, $140. All right. So you see this street vendor, this guy that's standing on the side of the road, and you see him selling Dolce & Gabbana, the one, and he's selling it. You approach him, and you're like, hey, how much is this cologne? He tells you $90, all right? You're more than likely going to be dealing in euros, but let's keep it in dollars just to make it simple for me, for my sake, since I deal with dollars for the majority of my life. So tells you $90. You're like, well, in Macy's, that's $130. So I'm saving $40 right off the rip. That's a pretty good deal. But you know what? You've been forewarned. You've been told about how to deal with vendors in Türkiye. So you need to haggle. You need to negotiate. You're like, no, man, I'm not going to give you 90. I'll give you 50. And they're like, no, that's not going to happen. You go back and forth, blah, blah, blah. You settle on $60. He sells you that cologne, which sells in a legitimate store, for $130 for $60, less than half the price. That's alarm bells. Any rational, logical person, alarm bells should be going off in your brain, okay? Oh, and let's talk about the approach. So you pick out the cologne you like. They bring out a tester. Spray, spray, spray. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Wow, smells great. Smells fantastic, just like the real thing. Well, guess what? That tester could be a legitimate bottle of that cologne, or it's a very high quality knockoff that is very close to the real thing. So You agree on the price, you make your payment, but the thing is, he's not going to sell you the tester. Oh, no, no. You don't get the tester. You get a package, a box that looks exactly like the real thing. And it's wrapped in plastic. Seems legit, right? Not. You're like, wow, got this shit for $60. This is too good to be true. Guess what, motherfucker? It is too good to be true. Are you not? How does this not go off right away in your brain that what he showed you in the tester is probably not going to be the same thing as what's in that bottle that's been packaged? He's selling you slightly scented rubbing alcohol, all right, or water. Now, what's in the bottle does have a scent similar to what you just tested, because just in case someone wants to be like, hey, I want to test out what's in that box. I want to test out what's in that bottle to make sure you're giving me the real thing. Someone could do that. So they are prepared for that. They will pull it out. It does have a scent and it will smell like the real thing. But guess what? Maximum, within 5 minutes, that shit is going to evaporate and you're going to go back to your stinky self. All right. That thing, it's rubbing alcohol or water with a tinge of scent. That's all you get. And you just paid $60 for that shit. So your consumerism, your materialism, your obsession with brand names makes you a target, makes you a willful participant in this scam. If you fall for this, I'm sorry, but I don't really have empathy for you. Because if you're that stupid to not realize what is going on, then you deserve to get scammed, okay? You deserve to get scammed. Just because you're a wannabe that needs to have that bottle, that little bottle that says Dolce & Gabbana or Yves Saint Laurent or whatever the fuck other fancy Italian name or French name, then you deserve that scam. So do not, I shouldn't even have to say this, do not fucking buy perfumes and colognes off of some dude on the side of the fucking road. Don't do it. All right? So that's today's scam, kids. Don't fall for it. Be careful with it. And just think. Just think. Be logical. Be rational. Don't be consumed by your materialism and your obsessions with brand names. Okay? So I hope if you are here, I hope you enjoy yourself. If you're planning to visit here, I hope you enjoy yourself. And I'm going to continue talking about these scams and these games, and so that you can have a good experience while you're here.